Well, here we go. We are live. So today I'm super excited to invite Saulius, the CEO of Engines of Fury, to discuss his amazing project. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Let's wait maybe a couple of seconds. Saulius is with us within the stream, so I'm going to add him and give him a very warm welcome. I just want to say that everybody that joined in, we have amazing news also in the end. So if you stick around, you're going to be the first one to hear amazing news from the CEO, Saulius. So warm welcome to Saulius. Here he goes. Saulius,
Hello,
welcome.
everybody. Hey, guys. How are you?
It's amazing to have you here. Really been looking forward to this day and to have this interview with you, to hear more about Engines of Fury. I'm extremely excited about this one, also for our crowdfunding in just 3 days from now. And and also to answer some questions and to give people like more information regarding your amazing project. So welcome. Thank you so much for clearing up some time.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here, guys. I think that you have a super strong community. I'm really happy that we're partnering on this. So I'm here to answer any questions that you would like to ask me, and let's get it going. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So please introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Saulius, and how did you get involved actually within crypto?
Cool. Who is Saulius? So I'm the CEO and founder at Engines of Fury. A little background about myself. I worked as a consultant for quite a while, worked as an advisor. I run accelerators and incubators and soft landings in Europe, and also co-founded a couple of companies myself. And actually, this is how I got into blockchain. It was through one of the companies that I founded. It was called Fair Digital. It's a marketing and web agency. And through that agency, I actually worked with some of the most notable names in the crypto space. So back in 2017, I've been working with the founders of Matic Network, which is now Polygon, with Noia, which is now Syntropy, and many other really great companies. And that really got me interested and inspired about the blockchain, about its possibilities, about where everything is going, and the applications of it. So I was interested in crypto and blockchain since then, and this is how I got here.
Wow, super interesting. So tell us a little bit also how the origin of Engines of Fury. How did you get into the GameFi and get by the idea of Engines of Fury?
Yeah, well, probably starts as quite a lot of fun and good stories starts. So I met with my current co-founders at the bar or at the lounge. I don't know which one is the better naming for it. But basically, because we were really into crypto and into blockchain for a while, we were just seeing the market, and we were seeing the boom and the rise of NFTs, of crypto games. And we just, were really excited and at the same time surprised to see the big boom when we ourselves felt that the games out there were not really on par with the standard world games. So what you do then, we basically thought that this is what we have to do. We're gamers ourselves. We love games. Well, we grew up with games, and we wanted to do something really great. And we wanted to make a game that is actually focused on its players and on the actual game. So what you do then, you basically create something on your own, right? So we started this summer. We attracted a superb team. We have around 30 people working for us now.
Wow.
We started the game design, the game development from our own resources. We attracted superb advisors. Quite a few of them are already announced. We're keeping a couple of really big ones also for a bit later on. It's not fun to spill all the beans at once, right? And since then we raised funds from really well-known VCs, and we're here now talking with you. Three days left to your crowdfunding event, right?
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, like the first time that I saw also your deck and the website and everything, it got me engaged right away. I thought to myself, well, here's a project that is really trying to do it differently and do it professionally in a way that, wow, really nice. You see, I gotta get myself also a t-shirt. Where are your minds? So,
I'll send you, man.
Hey, yeah, that would be great. Also, okay, awesome. So walk us through the game itself. What is the gameplay experience like? How does crypto actually fit into the game? and what do players need to get started when the game goes live?
Cool. Well, in short, what the game is, it's a wager-based 3D arena battler. And the gameplay experience itself, if I would have to give some sort of a reference to the gamers out there, would be if you would think of, let's say, RuneScape Duel Arena meets Mortal Kombat. Probably that doesn't really explain it, right? So I'll try to tell it from the beginning. So how do players start? In order to start, you will have to buy a champion using our Fury tokens. The price for the champions are going to be super low and also tied to USDT. We want to make sure that as much players as we can, they are able to get the champions and start playing. So whenever they buy a champion, they will be able to customize it, choose gender, choose some visual aesthetics, and also choose the fighting class. We have 3 of them now for the launch. Then when they have a champion, they can try out our 4 gameplay modes. So in terms of gameplay, we will have one free-to-play gameplay mode, which is going to be called Training Arena, Training Ground. This gameplay mode is used mainly for people to learn more about their champion, learn the game mechanics, try out different spells, different abilities that they have, and basically prepare for the actual battles against the bosses and against other players. So these are the other gameplay modes. We're going to have one more PvE gameplay mode, which is going to be called Boss Fights. In that mode, you will have to pay a small entry fee in order to get the chance to fight against a super strong boss. But if you win against it, you will be rewarded with Fury tokens and also with a chance for NFT recipes, which later on then you can combine and create a super strong NFTs by yourself. But the main game is going to be on the multiplayer. So that's player versus player. And there are going to be 2 modes. One is going to be simply one-on-one duel. And there are also going to be tournaments. So in both of these, what's the cool thing about it and what's the wager-based arena battler actually means is that before the fight, when you are matched with an opponent, you select an amount to stake from the very lowest amounts to the very highest amounts. You select an amount to stake and then fight that other player for the tokens that you have staked. So if you win against that other player, then you win the other player's stake. So this is where the adrenaline kicking experience is. Every fight is a thrill. Every fight you have to do your best in order to win the other player's stake tokens. Apart from that, we have a couple of more of a passive gameplay modes. So first of all, there is a thing called Arena Master. What it means is that we will be holding sales of the arenas. You will be able to buy a share of an arena, and by being an arena master, you will be getting a commission from all of the fees that we're collecting throughout the game. So all the entry fees, all the things that we are actually earning throughout the game, the majority of it is for our community to be shared through various event rewards, these commissions that we are giving to the arena masters, and things like that. And the last thing, which I think is cool, is that we will not be forcing people to only look to buy NFTs or items on like our marketplace or find them on marketplaces such as OpenSea or like Binance NFT and things like that. We will allow them to create them for the players themselves. So by playing a lot of fights, you will be getting NFT recipes, which then you can combine and create a super strong item like a weapon or an armor piece for yourself. And then you can use it to make your champion a little bit stronger, or you can sell it on the open marketplace, or you can even immediately destroy it, or as we call it, melt it, to immediately get Fury tokens. Why do we have this? I think it's important because a lot of games out there have a problem of having too much NFTs overflowing the markets. And what it does, it diminishes the value of all of them because there is too much supply. So in this case, if people will see that, hey, this sword doesn't really fit my strategy, maybe I'll put it on OpenSea. But if I don't want to wait for someone to buy it, I can destroy it immediately and get Fury tokens instead. So this creates some sort of a in-game supply and demand balancing solution that I think will really help our game to be successful.
Super interesting. So if I understand it correctly, the game, me as a player, I will be able to log in. The PvP is basically I staked Fury tokens, and I can actually bet my Fury tokens on my character to fight other characters on an auto PvP battle player. But there is also, if I'm very confident about my player, I can also stake tokens and fight like this boss, which will basically give me recipes in order to make these special NFTs. And if I get, let's say, an NFT that I already had, I can basically, well, it's kind of a disenchant, right? Within like World of Warcraft, where you get like these items and this kind of stuff. And then it's like to get it out of circulation, which is extremely smart for a solution, because that is something that I think is super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there is no chance that you would have two of exactly the same items. Again,
No.
there are NFTs, right? So there have been slight differences in terms of stats that they give you and that kind of things. But in a nutshell, yes, you are correct. I mean, that's why we are having it. And I think this is a good thing that we're implementing just by seeing other games out there, trying to learn from other mistakes and just make sure that ours, take care of our players.
Yeah, super. So let me see. So we already covered a lot of the utilities during this question, but is there anything else you would like to tell us about the utilities of the Engines for You token?
I mean, in our case, the token is everything. You have to use the token to buy a champion. You have to use the token in order to fight multiplayer battles. You have to use a token to create NFT. You have to use the token to buy arena lands. So basically, if we're talking about utility, I think Engines of Fury is an example of what's utility of the token, because this is the main in-game goal, and you do everything with it. So there's lots of utility for it.
Yeah, super excited for this one. So could you also explain us how you created, let's say, the tokenomics and what the thoughts are behind it?
Yeah, so first of all, as I said, we started this in summer. We started from our own resources. So we had a good idea of what else we will need, because we had the head start, we have the good timeline, and we had a good plan of what resources we will be needing and what kind of resources we will need for the development side, for the marketing side, because we had started. So this was not just, let's think about tokenomics and plan like 5 years ahead. We had been doing it, and we knew exactly what we are going to be needed. So I'm really confident about the tokenomics that we have in terms of the different buckets that we have there and what are they going to be used for. So a lot of thought went into the tokenomics. All in all, I think everybody knows here, the total amount that we were raising, the amounts for the public raises. Development-wise, we are sometimes getting this question for the development bucket, but you have to remember that this auto battler is our, let's say, first vision. After that, we're going to be expanding the game into an MMORPG, and anybody that has experience or just have read about what it takes to actually build an MMORPG would understand why we have to have this development bucket, because it's a notorious work that takes time, that takes a lot of resources, and this is why we have it here.
Yeah, extremely ambitious. Like, so just getting into what you just mentioned in the end. So if I would now freak out like on the character and I'll build him up, is that also something that you envision, that I will be able to use the exact same character also within the MMORPG that you're developing like for in the future? Or that would be separate?
This is what we are planning for. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be exactly the same character as in how it exactly looks in the auto battler game. Sorry, but we will definitely be transferring the main, let's say, visuals of it, and definitely the stats and the level that you have built for the character. So this is something that we want to transfer, so it would feel like a continuation of the sagas of Engines of Fury that we're going to have. in this in the nearest future.
I can't wait for it. I also read kind of the lore of Inches of Fury, and it was super interesting. Like I'm really into this post-apocalyptic stuff, and then also with the battle arena and that kind of stuff. Like I cannot wait for it, and especially like the token utility. When you take a look at kind of the list, you can see that there's a lot of thinking behind it and how you can actually use the token and be implemented. Because a lot of these games, sometimes you might think, so do I really need the token to be able to use the platform? And I think that taking a look also at Engines of Fury and the way that you guys structured it and the vision behind it, there's definitely a lot of utility there and for people to actually want to grab some of it. So let me go towards the next question. So the vision of Engines of Fury is to become the first game to actually bridge crypto and non-crypto worlds. The global video game market is about, let's say, $180 billion. How large is this opportunity actually?
I'm not sure about the first. I think that there are really good games out there that are already trying to do this. So I have to be honest about it. But I think that it's really important to just think about it, from a wider perspective. So I mean, bridging the crypto and non-crypto worlds is the promise of pretty much all of the games out there, right? And even of all of the projects, because that's what we are trying to do, is to bring adoption to the blockchain itself. And I think why GameFi is super important for the adoption of blockchain and of cryptocurrencies, because it's not only about the billions of revenue that there is in gaming, but it's more about the amount of people who play games, right? So I think according to latest stats, there are a bit more than 3 billion people that played games or occasionally play games. And so that's 1/3 of population, right? So talking about adoption of blockchain and crypto, if it's not gaming, then I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think the opportunity is huge. But the key point for gaming projects out there should be to, first of all, have the right people and advisors in the team that understand what makes the standard world game successful. Because it's about engaging and addictive gameplay. It's about gorgeous visuals. It's about having the long-term vision of the game and what it's going to become and how you will be supporting your gamers community and keeping them excited. So you're having a plan ahead, basically. And all of this is mostly lacking. So, I mean, have you ever thought which games would be uptaken by people who play Fortnite or World of Warcraft or even Angry Birds that are now out there? Probably not much, right? And this is why we are building this project. I mean, this game we're trying to build, we're doing it from a player's first perspective. And we are really working hard to then tie the P2E, the play to earn, and the NFT aspects organically into the gameplay, instead of making it the core, what we've seen lately. So, and I think this is one of the key reasons, because we're really thinking about this, why I believe that we're going to be really successful at this. Yeah.
Yeah, great answer, Saulius. So let me ask you another question. One of the biggest concerns that I see within a lot of these crypto games is monetization, right? They become too dependent on the money that I've actually raised during a pre-launch, and then they become dependent on it, and there's actually no strategy to monetize the game itself, and then to make sure that the game will actually flourish in the future. What kind of steps or what kind of strategies do you apply actually for this? Can you walk us through your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think it's an important question, and I think that's a good distinction between games that are out here just to build something that would be fast, and the other games that are really thinking about the future. Because if you're thinking about the future, then you have to think about sustainability of the project, which is monetization at the end of the day, right? So in our case, we have put forward quite a number of ways that we're going to be monetizing this in order to be sustainable. So as you know, there are going to be champion sales. If players want to play, they have to buy champions. We are going to be, we're going to be having NFT item sales, arena share sales, and all of the resales are also incurring a small percentage fee. There are going to be fees for gameplay, right? So in order to enter a fight against the boss, you have to pay a small entry fee. If you are playing the PvP matches, and let's say we play me against you, and you win because you're super excited about the project and you learn everything about it. So you win my tokens, but we take 1 to 2% from the total stake as a winner's fee. So all of that goes into treasury, which will support the game. And as I also said, a big portion of that will also go to rewards to community, rewards as a commission to the arena share owners, and the things like that. So all in all, we really thought this through. We have big Excels counting how much is needed, and I think that we are pretty confident that with even the most conservative scenarios that we're drawing, we're going to be successfully sustainable.
Thank you so much for the answer. So just for the other people, because I see that a lot of people are now joining, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that Saulius is actually waiting on announce something very, very big. So if you stick around, you will be the first ones to actually hear this from him. So I cannot wait for it. So yeah, Saulius, regarding the monetization, I think that you have really a realistic model. This is definitely something that I always ask projects that I talk to that I want to invest in, or whether we're going to partner up with them, because the last thing that you actually want is that you will invest in a project that is highly dependent only on how the token will act. Because in the end, we as the owners or developers of the project, we have never anything to say about where the market is going to go. I mean, in maybe in 6 months from now, the market is going to be amazing. Maybe it's going to be bad. When the money is up, then you need to know, okay, is my business model or the monetization strategy, is it working for me to actually continue developing this and not being too dependent on the token? So that creates then the sell pressure. And I think that when we also saw within the deck, the monetization model, and that you guys actually really thought about it, that was definitely something that I was also excited about. So I think that a lot of people are really missing this when they take a look at projects and how important it actually is that the project has actually spent a lot of time by thinking about this stuff. So let me jump into, let's say, the roadmap. And I have here your roadmap in front of me. So can you tell me a little bit more about future plans?
So the nearest plan is crowdfunding event on Decubate. That's no news to everybody joining here, right? But yeah, shorter plans are the IDO, following with DEX and SEX launches, right? Also, we have tons of material ready to show you guys in the coming weeks and months about the actual gameplay. Real footage from that. I think it's going to be really super cool. I'm excited to show you that. But then again, sometimes I'm finding it hard just to accept, the whole plan that we have to pace it, that we have to show something, then we have to show something. I just wanted to give it all and for you to see. But we have to wait a little bit and show it gradually, right? So those are the short-term plans. And in terms of the bigger picture, the game itself will be ready for the PvE gameplay modes in early Q3, and the full game with the multiplayer and all the arenas and all the things are going to be ready by early Q4. With the current timeline that we have, I was told, by my tech team that we could actually make it a little bit sooner. But I think it's really, really important, and this is something that we also want to be different, is to have an opportunity to launch sooner than promised. I think it's always better if you deliver something on time than overpromise. Don't think about potential bottlenecks. Don't think about time for testing and for any problems. I mean, it's development. At the end of the day, there are always some bottlenecks and always some delays. So I think with the current roadmap, I'm super confident. And that's why I'm happy about it, because if we can launch it earlier, I think everybody here will be psyched.
Yeah.
But if I would promise something earlier and then say, hey guys, so we have this little bottleneck here, we have to delay the launch by 1 month, it would be quite sad. And I don't want to make anyone sad. And I think that we have this roadmap that is very carefully planned with enough buffer times for testing for any problems that we might have. And I think it's a good roadmap as a whole.
Yeah, it's like the first conversation that we had. You said something that really hit home when you said, well, I always like to under promise and over deliver, and this is something I guess also from your experience with working with so many different projects and as an advisor and being within the ecosystem with the experience that you have. So tell us a little bit about the team you have assembled, right, to build Engines of Fury. How much work has been actually done up to now?
Yes, with the core team, I'm really happy with. If I wouldn't get happy with them, I wouldn't have met with them at the bar back in summer. Yeah, so no, but that's jokes. I mean, they're all seasoned professionals with long and successful track record when it comes to business development, to game development, blockchain projects, to marketing projects. Basically, all that you need for a successful GameFi project. And as a whole, in total, we have now, as I said, around 30 people, maybe even more than 30 now. And more than half of them are actually working on the tech side, so on the actual game. And what we've done so far in terms of, let's say, investments and partnerships. So who is following us should know that we announced quite a lot of partners already. Some of the main names. Oh, you can actually see them on Elliot's screen now. So thanks for helping me out here. But yeah, so we announced the majority of our investors already. That's not the end of it. We have a bit more of name droppers left for the nearest future. So wait for it. In terms of partnerships, we have 8 major guilds that are signed and more to come. So that I think that's super important because we're quite confident on the uptake of our game and and also high demand for the token coming from it, which is good for everybody here, right? Now in terms of the game development, I think that we're quite far ahead. Most of the game models are done. Talking about champions, arenas, NFT items, etc. They are all done and ready for deployment. Most of the work now is left, let's say, on the Unity side and balancing of the item stats, spells, and champions, just to make sure that we do enough tests. And there needs to be done like lots of tests just to make sure that when we launch, there are no super OP items or like spells. I think that's really important because that would ruin the game experience. So we're working really hard on that. And in terms of launch pads, we have already announced actually GameFi last week, and we will be announcing a couple more quite soon. So you should also really keep track on that.
Awesome. Yeah, so I guess we covered a little bit of the partnerships, but I just want to touch ground one more time on that. Like, it's super important. I didn't even know that you had like 8 guilds and how important that actually is. So I guess for you, and this is something that we also discussed a few times during our calls, is capital is not even your intention when you're talking to potential partners. What is the kind of things that you look for within partnerships and long-term partnerships? Like when you talk to these big names, like let's mention a few Mnemonica brands, LD Capital, IC Labs. What is it that you specifically look for when you onboard these partners?
Well, we really keep an eye on the top performing potential partners. I think what's even more important is that we really try to find out as much as possible about them from other projects that they're working with. It's really helpful, to see what real value all of these partners brought to the projects apart from the money that they invest. Because I think that in current markets and in GameFi, money is easy to come around if you have a good team, if you have a good concept, if you have a good vision. So it's more important to see what real value they can bring and whether they are honestly interested in the project and believe the founders, believe the concept, and that they will really help you to do it.
Yeah.
And I think this is why I'm super happy about the partners that we have, about the partners that we agreed to sign with. They're really helpful. Even the biggest names are actually really helping the project out. And I didn't even believe how much they could be actually involved being that big. And I think it's always really important to do a thorough DD and to make sure that who you partner with is like really well performing and can add value.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, your success is becoming their success, right? So it's in their best intention to support you not only the short term with capital, but also long term as a strategic partnership to add value aside of just capital. So that's great actually to hear and to see all these names. And I know the team is extremely busy with announcing probably one each. Well, a couple of days, I see like a new announcement of a partnership and a big one too. Like personally, you know, most of them. So making really great choices there. Let me see. So yeah, we're almost in the end of the question. So of course we have the crowdfunding on Decubate in 3 days from now. For the people that are watching from Decubate also, like, do you have a message for them?
Well, first of all, big disclaimer, this is not an investment advice or anything. Yeah, I mean, for all investments, I think it's super important to see the big picture and the long term. And also, as I said, it's super important to believe the concept, the vision. It's important to believe the founders. And if you do, then you will be successful, because I think, you know, any one of us can make some really good and quick returns when the market allows it.
Yeah.
But if you're picking the right projects with the long-term vision and with good background, you don't care about the market, because at the end of the day, the market will come and go and it will come again. But the best projects will stay there and grow. And I really believe that with the team that we have, with the vision that we have, with the backers that we have, that we will be one of those projects that actually stays.
Awesome. Great.
So that's a hint for your investment.
That's a hint.
Not an advice, that's a hint.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Saulius. So before we move to the Twitter questions, let's do a quick rapid fire question round. Are you ready? So it's basically going to be very quick, 10 questions. And whatever pops first in your head, just say it, okay?
Okay.
First video you ever played?
Doom.
What's your favorite video game?
But that's not fair. I don't know. I spent the most hours on World of Warcraft, so probably that's it.
Me too. A big portion of my life. Video game that has the best music.
That one is interesting. You know, actually, that might sound weird, but Tetris Effect on Xbox, it has like super good beats. Try it out if you haven't.
Awesome. So, favorite video game character?
Probably this. How it is, Gerald from the Witcher. I mean, the lore that they have is unmatched. Yeah.
All right. So, which maybe also the first. So, what's your favorite video game movie?
Probably Resident Evil with the unkillable Mila Jovovich.
Nice. Atari 800 or Commodore 64?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm too young for this. I haven't tried those consoles, mate.
All right. So, Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis?
Sega.
All right. PlayStation 2 or Xbox?
Xbox.
World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy?
Well, you know the answer already. That's World of Warcraft.
All right, so for let's get into some questions that we chose from Twitter, which I think are super interesting. So I'm just gonna post them here, highlight them so everybody can see them. So Mindboy1 is asking, when are you going to bridge the token to Binance Smart Chain, before or after the listing on exchange?
Okay, we're getting this question a lot. I mean, and it's a fair question. You know, the main token is on Ethereum, so people are conscious about the gas fees. We're conscious about it too, and as I said, we put our players first. The bridge will be done, if not on TGE, then very, very soon after. So don't worry, guys. We will take care of this.
Awesome. So Gila Turcher is asking a great question. And he's asking, how is the team planning on making the game addictive as described on the website?
I mean, I like that type of questions because they are talking about the gameplay. But all in all, I think we were answering this question throughout today. Is basically, I think that we are really thinking about the gameplay loop, how to make it dynamic, how to make it engaging, how to make it addictive. We're putting lots of efforts on the visual side, and that's the core principles that make games in the standard world game successful in the long term. And us making sure that that's the core of our game with the play to earn aspect and the NFTs and everything tied into it. I think this will help us to make sure that that we can make this game addictive and bring the actual gamers to the crypto gaming space.
Awesome, Saulius. So in order to make this video like an hour long, like I see with sometimes of the AMAs, I'm just gonna close it. So I really want to hear what kind of announcement you have for us for in the end, that we waited up and people that have been staying tuned to the end, what kind of announcement it is as a closing remark.
Yeah, I just told you that we announced one of the launch pads, right? GameFi. So I thought it would be nice to give something to you to be the first ones to know. So you will be the first ones to know our second launch pad, which we're going to be releasing. And this is going to be DAOmaker. I think it comes to no surprise seeing our team and seeing our advisors list, but I think it's super, super exciting and important because it's a huge launch pad, and I think it only shows that we're on a good track.
Super exciting. So we have GameFi and DAOmaker. Super exciting. So for everyone that has stayed tuned up to this point, thank you so much. Saulius, I also want to thank you for your time. I think it's super interesting. Really looking forward to also the crowdfunding and also the release of the game and being a supporter. I'm definitely going to play this game. I cannot wait until it comes out. Thank you so much for sharing what you just shared. DAOmaker and GameFi. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, man. Likewise, had really great fun here talking to you and answering questions. So yeah, guys, crowdfunding in 3 days. See updates on our channels or on Decubate channels, and keep believing in Engines of Fury. And we'll see you soon, right?
Waiting for that T-shirt. All right. See you, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Up to the next time.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.